Welcome to another episode of WETS, and this week I have short hair. And today, of course, I'd already decided on this shirt, and I went out for a haircut earlier and I had the brilliant idea of wearing the same shirt. So now it's incredibly itchy around my neck and even my chest, and this is going to be very difficult to get through the video. Worst decision ever. I was a bit torn over categories with this shirt, because if you look at it, or here's a photo, you can see it says rockin' it up the top. And it's got sort of like an alternative rock punk theme sort of to it. But apart from that, there's nothing else. When I originally came up with the categories for the shirts, it was based on the name of the blog. So sex, Star Wars, rock and roll. Just 3 random categories, none really interrelated, so I'm not going to get too many crossovers, and sounded cool. On the website you can see sex I have none. It's a bit of a hard one to cover. Rock and roll, the deciding factor there was any of my concert or bands t-shirts are obviously in, and then there are a few others that I made an exception for. So pretty much the idea behind that was I visit something that has a rock and roll atmosphere about it, whether it's a concert or a hard rock venue. You know, they've got merchandise, memorabilia, all that, and so obviously they would go into the rocky category. However, I do have a couple other shirts that do kind of fit the bill. The green shirt from a few weeks back, I think it was the 3rd shirt or something that I did, you know, it could fit into rock and roll. So I'm thinking of possibly broadening the categories a little to account for shirts that do kind of belong there. There's no reason why they couldn't, it just wasn't my initial interpretation of what the categories meant. I'll also be adding a few new categories: travel and geek. You figure out obviously which shirts go into those categories later, as the appropriate t-shirts are worn by me. So this t-shirt will be going into rock and roll, and I'll need to do an update on the count on the blog to include other shirts that may have been omitted from various categories. Obviously Star Wars is fairly straightforward, and also include shirts in those 2 new categories. About this shirt in particular, I actually got it on the same shopping trip I mentioned with that green shirt, the Retro Rockers one. I think even from the same store. I'll show you a close-up of it again, this time a little bit more zoomed in. There's a lot of detail in the shirt. So the two main things are the pink skulls. There's some weird colours in the background that don't appear to look like anything. Got some pin-up girl down the bottom with a sign below her that says beware. I don't know if it's beware of her or if it's just a coincidence that she's there. There's also some weird bunny rabbit thing. Not a lot of actual iconic sort of graphics on the shirt, but just a massive canvas of random ideas all thrown together and made to look really colourful. The feeling I wore this, I was driving somewhere up the coast, which is a couple hours drive, and as most of you can probably relate to, after long road trips, your back tends to sweat a bit from sitting down for a couple hours. And obviously the more you're concentrating as well, you tend to sweat. That's why people sweat during exams or under intense situations. So obviously when you're driving for 2 hours, that's a lot of concentrating, not to mention the heat inside the car and, like I said, from sitting back on the seat. So this shirt got quite disgusting after that. It cleaned up fine, obviously, but being white, it sort of went this weird yellowy see-through colour. Actually, I can feel it's a bit wet now. I don't know if you can see that at all. If it looks wet, I have no idea, honestly. You probably couldn't really see much from that shot anyway, who knows. I could have just showed you my ass for all I care. But yeah, so it's a nice, fun, casual shirt. Great for summer barbecues and parties, or a hot day such as today, where you just want something light to wear, nothing too heavy or dark. So there you have it for this t-shirt. Might have something a bit different for you next weekend. Another surprise. But until then, see you later.